Merry Christmas! I hope my voice is okay for this. I can hear it still, but I'm doing good. I'm doing well. So I was gonna do this as the question and answer thing as like a live, but then I realised there's stuff that I kind of want to read out for some of the questions, and I'd like you to be able to see it when I'm reading it. So I'm gonna do it like an all video so that I can actually put up the images as I'm talking about the statistics and stuff. So firstly, I hope you're all having a very nice Christmas, no matter what you're doing, even if you're alone. I hope you're enjoying the day, taking it easy, doing a bit of self-care. Let me know something you have done today. 3 things I've done today. It's about, I think it's like nearly 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've cleaned my sitting room. Now by clean my sitting room, I mean I swept and hoovered and took everything up off the floor. So now basically just the couches and stuff are full of the junk that gets thrown around. I also assembled a trike. I made this. So I made that, and I had a shower. That'll be my 3rd thing. I had a shower and washed my hair. So let me know 1, 2, 3 things that you've done today to have fun, enjoy it. So we'll just get into the questions. So, firstly, by the way, thank you to everyone for, first of all, thank you to everyone who don't, no, I'm gonna have to take them off, will I? Thank you to everyone who put in a question or whatever, and then people who have been saying like hope you get better and stuff like this. Thank you. I'm actually not that bad. The baby has been having fever since Sunday morning, so that's kind of when I thought it was a viral infection, because everything is a viral infection and babies just get viral infection after one after another. So I assumed it was that, and then on Monday I done a test, because obviously you can't test him. So I done a test and it was negative. So I was like, yeah, grand, fine, it's a viral infection. And then Tuesday I started to feel like I had a cough, and then by Wednesday I had a cough. So I done another antigen test, and it came up positive. And I mean, like, it came up like that, you know, like the ink had barely got onto the paper and the line was up. I was like, no. So obviously that threw all a spanner in the works for the Christmas. We were supposed to be at my sister's today. She was having me, my parents, and one of my brothers over. And then my sister also has COVID. So my parents, we've had to like redirect us. So my parents are going to one of my brothers, and my other brother's going with them and all this. So there's a lot of rejigging. So I haven't been too bad really. Thankfully, it's been really just a very bad cough. Now I mean, like, it's the worst cough I've probably ever had. And then like that, the nose gets stuffy in and it's gone, and then this and all. But I'm really just taking like Lemsip and Sudafed, and I'm fine. The baby obviously is a bit worse, you know what I mean? So the fevers, now thankfully he hasn't had a fever in nearly 2 days. So then again, it's just blocked nose, cough, all of this, and just being a bit mopey, you know yourself. But anyway, yeah, thank you for all the well wishes. So I only got a few questions, and that's fine, because then it'll just be a nice easy video, but they're interesting questions, so hopefully you guys find them interesting and find the answers interesting. Do you know what you can also do is, I'll put the questions maybe down in the description then, and then you can comment as well to say what your answers are to them. I think it's interesting. Yeah, let's go. So Ty Craven said, what is your favorite type of thing to investigate? So I've said it before that my favorite thing is a weird thing to say, but the things that really intrigue me the most are missing persons. So just how someone can just vanish just like that, especially in kind of the last 10 or so years, where there's smartphones and CCTV, and really everything is kind of tracked in a way. So how people are still just up and vanishing. And I've said this before, that like when I was younger and I'd see about people being missing, like as I said, Trevor Deely would have been real prominent, because I remember the first time seeing his poster, and I remember it was kind of like mystical is not the right word, but I always thought it was this kind of like, oh, where did they go, you know, when I was younger. And then obviously as you grow older, you start to realise that sadly there's always kind of a sad reasoning behind it, or a nefarious reasoning behind it. Did I mention before, did you ever read the book by Cecilia Ahern, A Place Called Here? I used to love that. I loved that book. I just thought it was this nice idea that like all these people and all these things that go missing, this is where they go to a place called here. Ty, I've moved your questions around because the first one you asked is actually the one I find hardest. So the next one you asked was, what are my plans for 2023? So yeah, so just to continue, obviously covering cases, hopefully grow my channel a bit. I'm at like 2100 or something, so it's going really well. So again, thank you for everybody subscribing and stuff like that. I'm hoping to kind of do a bit more interactive videos, if that makes sense. Like, I'd love to start doing kind of like interviews and things like that. That's not just me sitting here telling you a case, that there's more dimensions. So hopefully I'm going to try work on that. I have been trying to work, and I've been trying to ask people and they're like, no. But anyway, we're going to keep yeah. So if there is something obviously you'd like to see that you think would be interesting, you can tell me and I'll have a look at it. And then also, remember I started doing the Operation Trace, where I'm doing the cases of the missing women, but also trying to put in other cases that could be tied to it. I have another one that the research is kind of all done. I just took a break from it, but I'm going to be going back to it. So that will also be continuing in the new year. And then your last question is, what case would I like to cover outside of Ireland? So missing persons, again, kind of were the first ones that came to my head. And I really tried. I spent like last night for a good while thinking what one to pick and stuff, and then I couldn't. So I know this is a bit of a cop-out, but what I decided to do was then I'm just going to list 5 outside of Ireland missing person cases that like fascinate me and that I hope to see solved. And I'm going to recommend someone to go watch them as well. I just want to say actually that one of them that would have been a case that you'd want to see solved was the boy in the box, and thankfully, finally, he has been identified as little Joseph Augustus Zarelli. And like, I think he was 4 years old. Like, just this horrific, awful end to such a short life. It's just awful. It never ceases to amaze me how bad people can be. So these are in no particular order. I'll just try to give a brief overview from what I remember. So if I get something wrong, sorry. So the first one is Bryce Laspisa. Now, the first time I ever heard this case was on Crime Junkies podcast, and to be honest, the way they described it, I actually found real like fascinating and creepy almost. Basically, he shows kind of he's a college kid, he shows strange behaviour and stuff at college, where he breaks up with his girlfriend, he gives stuff away, this type of thing, and then he's supposed to be driving home, and he essentially just doesn't move. Like, he's parked somewhere and doesn't move, and every time like someone comes by, like the police or like like a tow truck driver or something like this, he's either not moved at all or he's barely moved, and it's really creepy. And then by the end of it, obviously they find his truck and it's crashed, and then he was never found. There's a lot of interesting theories about that one. If you put his name into Reddit, you'll get a really wild one that's from someone that says that they knew him. The next one is Asha Degree. I think she was 9 when she went missing, and basically she shared a room with her brother, and she just got up in the night and then let herself out and like went off and like had her little backpack and stuff with her. People say that they saw her, like walking along the motorway or something, and it was the weather was horrific and stuff, and so someone actually turned back to go back to check on her, and she ran into like the woods or whatever, and so obviously she has never been found. So there's obviously speculation about, had someone been grooming her. Now obviously they said that she didn't have like access, she wasn't allowed to use computers or the internet or anything, but people were kind of saying, was there some kind of adult or whatever, that predator that had groomed her and she was meeting them, this type of thing. The next one is Andrew Gosden. So this is an English case, and so he oh my gosh, I can't remember his age. Was he 13, 14? I think he was 14. So he basically gets up and gets ready for school and goes to school, and then his parents go off to work, and then he goes back. He never went to school. He had went to a park or something to wait, and then headed back, changes, puts his uniform into the wash, and then takes his PSP but not the charger. And I remember people saying that that's a big thing, because obviously if he was intending on not coming back, maybe he'd have taken the charger with him. But then he got a train. He withdrew money and he got a train into London. And there was a whole thing about the clerk saying, do you want like a return ticket? And it's like 50p extra or a pound extra or something. And he said no. So then it was kind of like, was he going in to meet someone again, like a predator, like who groomed him or something? And, was it a case of kind of like, no, well then I can drop you back. So that's why he didn't get the return ticket, this type of thing. But again, have a look into it more. Obviously, I'm just giving very brief descriptions of these things. The next one is Kieran Horman. I'm hoping I'm saying his first name right. I think it's pronounced Kieran. And this little guy, his last picture is from literally just before he went missing. He had this little school project about a type of frog, and he's just looks really like happy and proud about his project. It's his stepmother who takes the picture. She dropped him to school, and so she basically says that like she dropped him and then that was it. She's like bye. And then he doesn't go to school. He never goes into his class. This was obviously kind of like in the PE hall or whatever, the assembly hall, all the projects. And then they were supposed to go to class. And so she says that she left him there. The teacher obviously says he never got there. Now, I can't really remember when the alarm was raised, to be honest, because if someone saw him, like if the teacher or the principal or someone saw him in the assembly hall, why would you not then question when he isn't in the class? Even if you just saw, oh, well, the stepmom then brought him home again, he was only in for the project and then whatever. I would still double check that. You should be questioning that, no? I don't know. Anyway, he has never been found. Obviously, there's a lot of suspicion on the stepmother. My heart goes out to the mom because I think it was cancer. She had some sort of illness from what I remember. And she couldn't really look after the child. And, she had to kind of go for treatments and stuff like this. So the dad, Kieran went to the dad and was staying with them. And then obviously he went missing. So yeah, check that one out. And then the last one, I think that was 4, wasn't it? So the last one then is Lars Mittank. So he went missing in Bulgaria. I think he was from Germany and went missing in Bulgaria. And it was the whole thing, he had injured his ear in like a bar fight and stuff, and then wasn't allowed to fly because of his ear. So he told his friends to go ahead. And then he had to stay. He was on antibiotics and all this. And then he started displaying kind of weird behaviour. He was calling his mom, telling her like people were following him and stuff like this. So then he finally was going to the airport to fly home, and he goes to see the doctor. And apparently someone comes in and they say like they're dressed like a security guard or something, so they have a uniform. And they come in, they say something to the doctor in Bulgarian, in their language. And then Lars freaks out and runs, and is seen running out of the airport and stuff, and then kind of off over to like the fence, and it's assumed that he hopped over and kind of into the wilderness. So obviously he has never been found, and obviously some people are like, oh, he's probably living rough on the streets, he could have had a psychotic episode or something like this, all these type of things. So, and actually the person I'm going to recommend to you guys now is a YouTuber, but on a podcast he started recently as well. He said that there's actually footage after that, apparently, where after Lars comes out, he doesn't run. He actually stops and just starts walking, and he walks past police and stuff, and it's very casual. So, I don't know. But anyway, so the person I'm going to recommend to go watch all these, I think he has covered them all. And he's actually one of the first true crime YouTubers I ever started following, and it's Lordan Arts, so John Lordan. So he has his YouTube, and he has a podcast called Seriously Mysterious, which I've just started listening to. So it's very good. Does not have enough subscribers, honestly, and yeah, go check him out. So Ty, I hope that answered the questions. I'm sorry I done a cop out and told you 5, but at least now that's 5 cases that you guys have to go look at if you didn't. Let me know if you had heard about them before, or if you hadn't, and let me know what you think about happened with them. Yeah. So the next person actually asked me like really interesting questions, but they're hard questions. So I spent last night trying to find out the answers for you. So they are, I'm just going to read them all out, okay? So Marion Lucy, what's the percentage of crime in Ireland versus other countries? What is the main factors influencing crime which occurs in Ireland? And she wonders, has the trend in Irish crime changed over time? So this is where I wanted to do it as a video because there's stuff I want to show you. So I'm going to just read them out. When I'm editing, I'm going to put in the images so you can actually see them as well. One I found really interesting, and now I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah. So this is from worldpopulationreview.com. And it says the crime rate by country 2022. So, I mean, we're kind of not too bad if you just look at the colours straight away, right? So they have a list of 136 countries, and we are number 67. So we are, just to give you context, United Kingdom is 64, and the United States is 56. So as in, number 1 is like the highest crime rate. So United States 56, 64 is the United Kingdom, and then 67 is Ireland. So yeah, we're there at 67. So we're kind of basically 136 and we're at 67, so that's 134. So we're just under halfway of the lowest. Would that be right? Yeah. So I thought that site was really good. And then I was just kind of looking up stuff. So then obviously that's 2022, so that's the most recent. Now, a Irish Times article from July 2019 says we are the 11th lowest homicide rate in Europe and the 23rd lowest in the world. So obviously this is now just to do with homicide. The other one was kind of crime all. So there, like the global study on homicide found Ireland had a homicide rate of 0.9 per 100,000 people. So this is just slightly under the Northern Europe average of 1 per 100,000. And a third of the average for the continent of Europe, which is 3 per 100,000. Wow, so the global murder rate was 6.1 per 100,000. And it says the study from 2017, there was 41 homicides in Ireland, but many of these were to do with the Hutch Kinahan gang feud. So that kind of goes into your other question. You said what are the main factors influencing crime? The Central Statistics Office has brought these out. Now it says they're under reservation, so obviously it means they're not like final. Most crimes increased in this year, like Q3 third quarter, which is up till the end of September. So most crimes increased, but it says that theft and related offences were the highest. So there were 62,546 theft and related offences in the year to the end of September. And this was an increase of 39% compared to the same period of last year. So then, as you can see, kidnapping and related offences were up 29%. Attempts and threats to murder, assaults, harassment were up 20%. Burglary and related offences were up 18%. Robbery, extortion, and hijacking up 17%. Sexual offences were up 6%. So that seems to be the smallest increase. And then there was one decrease in controlled drug offences, which was down 19%. Oh, sorry. And then weapons and explosives was down 1%. Now, as you can see, it says it here, which I would have said anyway. All these kind of are reflecting on the fact that the last 2 years we had like the restrictions and stuff. So obviously crime was going to kind of increase this year now that things were laxed again. Keep everyone just locked up. No. So I'm gonna be putting screen grabs of these, but I'm gonna put all these links down below as well, so you can have a read through, especially if you're at home bored like me today. Now I thought this was an interesting one. ourworldandData.org. Basically, the homicide rate from 1990 to 2019. Okay, so again, this is always per 100,000 people. So as you can see, in 1990, it was 0.9. So that's 0.9 per 100. Now, and then there's a little bit of a dip and stuff. And then another interesting time is when it starts going back up. So by 1999, it is 1.1. And by 2002, it's 1.2. Then it actually goes into a big dip, and by 2005 it's back down to 0.7, and then we see it going back up 1.2 and up to 1.3 by 2009, and then it kind of seems to dip down. Now I'm surprised at that, to be honest, because I would have thought there was a bit more going on there with the gangland feuds and stuff, so I'm not really sure. And then another article from The Independent in December of last year, 2021, says that homicides fell by more than 30% because of the Gangland Crackdown. So obviously most of our homicides are to do with the gangland activity and stuff. But in 2021, there were 22 homicides compared to 32 in 2020. Here are some interesting things. There were 7 deaths attributed to assault, 9 people were stabbed, 4 were shot, 1 died in a suspicious fire, and 1 was apparently suffocated. The oldest person to die a suspicious death was 88, and the youngest was 16. Of those that died, so 68% were male, and 32% were female. So basically the males take up like a good 2/3 of the chunk. And that's interesting. In only 2 of those homicides, there have been no arrests. So there have been arrests for the others essentially, or they deem that the killer also killed themselves. So I hope that answers the what's the percentage of crime in Ireland versus other countries. I'm hoping it's also kind of covering. So the main factors that influence crime, obviously drugs. You know, drugs is a huge thing. Drugs itself as a crime, and then obviously people who are sadly addicted to drugs will go out and commit crime. I remember someone telling me that a guard, after they had like a break-in or something, a guard told them that, you know, when there's like a drug bust, crime in that area then will go up. So, because obviously then the price has got to go up. So if, just, I don't know, 100 grand of cocaine is seized, then the rest of the cocaine that's still there, supply and demand, is now cost more. So then anyone who's addicted to cocaine or whatever other drug, I'm using that as an example, have to pay more. So they have to have more money. So if they don't have a job or they don't have, you know, they have to commit crime or they have to commit more crime. So crime goes up. Gangland, as I said, gangland is obviously one of our big things. And then to be honest, I think just kind of, I don't really know how to phrase this without it sounding bad, but like education slash ignorance slash how people are raised. I'm just going to say that. So I think there are a lot of people that come before the courts who have so many convictions and stuff. And then when you look back at their life, how they were raised, you know, the area they were in, this type of thing, it kind of explains why they're in that situation. But that's not an excuse. That should still be, like, they should still be punished. But I think needs to be looked at the root cause of what's going on. I hope that makes sense. Marion, I'm going to hope that answers the questions. I know I said to find out, and I hope I found out as much as I can. I actually really enjoyed doing this. It was interesting to learn this stuff as well. That's kind of it. So what will we leave today with, children? Let me know what you've done today. I'd like to hear something good that you guys done. If you are spending it with loved ones, if you are spending it alone, let me know what you think, if you know about those other missing person cases, or if you don't, and what you think happened with them. Do you know what? Also let me know one case that you would like to see resolved outside of Ireland. So again, it could be an unsolved murder, missing person, whatever. Let me know. And I think that's all the homework, isn't it? Yeah, so thank you. I hope you've watched this today or tomorrow or whenever. Oh, so my next video I was hoping to record today, but I'll be honest, I'm doing a more well-known case just to try it out. And it's a doozy. It's a big one. It's an onion. So it's just taking me longer because I think, to be honest, I'm gonna record it as one video, but I feel like I'm gonna have to end up editing it into 2 videos. And I'm not doing that to be like, ooh, check out next week's video kind of thing. I'm going to put them up together, like, or within hours of each other or whatever. But I genuinely am kind of worried about how many hours of footage it's going to be raw, and then I'll have to edit it. And I'm afraid my system might not deal with it. So yeah, let me know what you think, what case it is. Yeah, anyway, but I'm hoping to finish the script today. I have most of it done, but I just feel like there's so many branches off and that I could do more with it and stuff, so I'm going to do it. And then hopefully record it tomorrow, Stephen's Day, because I still don't know. I'm still showing a positive. It's a fainter line, but I'm still showing a positive, so I can't see my parents or anything. Because we don't want to get anybody sick. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say. Yeah, okay, right. Thank you, as always. Please have a good day, whatever you're doing. Okay, thanks. Bye.